This is us holding out our hand.
Join us.
Join us. Come to the positive side.
Sometimes you just gotta vent.
Second half, I'll be quick to be like, oh, child, I'm lazy. I'm not about to do. I'm lazy, so I need to.
So what are you gonna say to replace
So
it?
instead of saying I'm lazy, I gotta say something like, I'm gonna do that.
Do you have to commit to it?
I mean, I don't have to commit to it, but I don't have to say I'm lazy. So I could just say, I'll do something else, or when I find the time. No, that's not a good one.
Maybe I'm
Not
enjoying my
time.
rest. I don't know.
I'm enjoying basking in the moment.
There you go. I like that.
I'm enjoying
Basking in the
living
moment.
in the now. I'm enjoying accepting the present.
There we go.
And I'm doing that for as long as I desire until I'm ready to do what it is that I'm gonna do.
You see what that did to your brain?
It did help my brain.
It helped your brain because it
good.
allowed you to, one, accept that you're going to relax.
Right.
And your brain is telling you it's okay.
It's
now.
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like telling your body it's okay now. You don't
Right.
have to fight against me. And so I think that's huge.
It is.
That's like truth, being honest with yourself, acceptance.
I listen to Abraham Hicks a lot, and she is one of those law of attraction coaches. And one of the things that she says is to not have split energy. And split energy is when, let's say, take for the example about me wanting to do something but wanting to relax at the same time. It's like, do one or the other. Whatever is going to bring you joy in that moment, that's what you need to do. If you want to relax, say, I'm going to relax, I'm in the present, and I'm enjoying this moment. That takes away the split energy. It takes away that fight of, oh, I'm relaxing, but I should be doing this, and I'm sitting here, but I should be getting up. It's like, wait a minute. Which one you want to do? You want to get up? Get up. You want to sit there and accept that you're sitting there and you're feeling good about sitting there. Feel good about doing whatever it is that you're doing. And if it doesn't feel good, then do the thing that makes you feel good.
Right.
Because if you don't, then that's split energy, and that ain't helping nobody.
Commit. Committing to whatever you decide to do.
Commit.
Yes, because sometimes it's like, I use this analogy when we were at the restaurant when I had the water and I'm like, ooh, I think I want to tip it. I think I want to keep it on the table. Maybe I want to tip it. Maybe I want to keep it on the table. But it's like, whatever you going to do, just do it.
And do
like,
it good.
Right. If you going to drop the water, drop it with a bang.
Right. Everybody need to hear it.
Everybody, be very dramatic.
In the whole restaurant. Just drop it.
But if you're not, then keep it up and make sure it's not tilting.
A lot of believers and a lot of spiritual people, a lot of those people who we feel have consciousness, I feel like it's time for us to start growing into our worthiness and knowing that it's okay, it's okay.
Right.
It's okay. Conscious people can be the most critical people on the planet, and we criticize ourselves just as hard.
Oh yeah, we criticize ourselves first, and then we criticize others.
Right.
So the same way that we giving out that energy, we putting on ourselves, and that's really unhealthy.
It's very unhealthy. And so instead of criticizing every single thing, how about you live in the present, accept who you are, and release judgment. Ooh, that person doing this. Ooh, well, you wasn't perfect the last time I checked. So focus on you rising to that next level. If my goal is to wake up at 4:30 or 5 every morning, that's what I'm going to be focusing on. I'm not going to be focusing on so-and-so who wake up at 12. Because at one point, I used to wake up at 12.
Right.
So I ain't got nothing to say to other people. All I can do is focus on me and focus on shining my light. Because it's gotten to the point where it's life or death. I asked my friend, how did you get to a point where you feel worthy after all the things that you've been through? He said, not being what it is that God wants you to be, not doing the things that he puts in you, not shining your light is literally death, because you're not living at this point.
Right.
If we want to live, then we have to do those things that brighten our eyes, and make us feel good and make us joyful, because anything else is stagnation, and stagnation is death, really. You know, that flat line at the hospital when they declare somebody dead. And instead of being stagnant, let's give ourselves these little things to attain, because all of us have been stagnant in our lives. But I know I have felt very stagnant.
Is it the feeling, or is it truly stagnation? Because I think those are two different
Well, maybe
things.
it's not truly stagnation, because if it was truly stagnation, we'd be dead, right?
Right. And remember that
It just maybe feels like stagnation.
that feeling. And remember what we were talking about, how we have to really hone in on feeling what we desire.
Right.
And so you need to already feel like you done slept at 5. You know, you waking up, you had a good night's sleep, you woke up at 5 a.m. And for me, whatever goals I'm trying to accomplish, I have to feel it in the moment, because when we feel it, it's almost like we're just waiting for the action to catch up.
To it. Right. You teaching.
Girl, we talked about this.
It's a whole word. You just heard a whole word. 2022 is about shining your light, being extra. I was telling people on Facebook, I said, look, believers, it's time to start a YouTube channel, because they done made it where all you can see is the likes. You can't see the dislikes. So you have no excuse to be feeling rejected.
Aww,
Go ahead and put out your channel, because all we can see is the positive now.
I love that. All y'all need to be seeing in 2022 is the positive. Everything you want to accomplish. If it's negative, it's not existent.
And listen, contrast is going to come. Negativity is going to happen with, around us. And when that happens, if we get ourselves to a level where we are fully secure and solid on how we will approach things and circumstances with a certain perspective that shows all is well, then no matter what negative thing that comes our way, we will still be able to move forward without getting depressed.
Right. Like if you're going to a beach, right? And you get in your car, there's a red light, there's a lot of people in front of you, but you're in there with your family, you got your vacation clothes on. Like, just think about where your head is, right? And versus if you are headed to a meeting that you're 10 minutes late for, and you have to present for a big presentation, like where your head is going to be. Huge difference. But you're still in the car. You're still going a certain direction. And it's truly to say that you have to take that energy of when you're going to the beach, the calmness, and you have to put it in every situation. You have to be able to look, dang, that sucks that I'm not there right now, but I'm still got to get where I'm going. But for you to like blow your horn, swerve, put yourself or someone else in danger when your life could be ended just like that, it's kind of like a huge test. So whenever you're thinking about something that's like stressing you out, maybe taking like a observation to see, am I acting like that person who drives in the car going to the beach, or am I acting like that person who's late for their meeting?
That's what meditation is supposed to help people with, is to keep that nirvana, keep that, peaceful mindset through everything. Right. And, that's not an easy thing to just attain. People have been studying that for years and meditating for years, and a lot of those people still haven't, mastered that. It's not to say, one of these videos, it's like, just be positive. It's easy.
It's not.
It's not, and we know it's not, because we're living in a world that is contrary to God's rule, period. So it's going to be that opposition at all points and all times, because when you're living in Satan's world, that means it's opposite of peace. So you have to literally create peace.
And make a choice every day.
Make a choice every day to be joyful. Make a choice every day to say, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I am great how I am in the present moment. I might not have the finances that I desire right now, but it's coming to me. I already am rich. We always say that to each other. We feel very rich.
Just waiting for the bank account to catch up.
To catch up, baby. Health is wealth. The mindset is wealth. Great relationships and friendships are wealth. So, listen,
that's key.
The wealth.
Like, do you have family, friends who are supportive of where you're trying to go? Because that's like huge. I think whenever me and AKILAH reconnected again, it was just saving grace for me because our babies were able to do things together.
Oh, right.
We both could relate as moms, and it was just that environment that we needed to kind of grow off of each other.
Same for me.
If you don't have that type of environment, maybe trying to see like what groups are around that promote the goals that you're trying to accomplish, because there's people out there that's trying to do the same exact thing as you. You're not in this alone. Although sometimes we get in our head and we feel like we're the only person on this earth that's suffering, all of us are going through something. And so connecting with a group of people who are just moving towards the same goals, that could be huge for you. You know, it could really take you from where you are to reaching that goal quicker than what you had ever anticipated.
The thought that you're the only person, and I've felt this way before, that is suffering in the way that you're suffering is so bizarrely insane. Because there's billions of people on the planet, and there's no way that your suffering is the only type of suffering. Of course, you're the only you, so it's going to be unique to you, period. You know, the circumstances, everything, the characters are all going to be unique for your story. However, everyone on this planet has suffered, and there are a lot of people who are suffering, who are most likely suffering maybe even more than you in your situation. Life is always gonna deal certain hands that we don't expect and that we feel sad about. But at the end of the day, if we know that suffering is something that is common amongst humanity, then we can properly plan how to deal with it. Because it's going to come. You know, even Jesus suffered. He was crucified. Hello. And the man was perfect. If he suffered, you're going to suffer. Everyone is going to suffer at some point in their life. That billionaire, Elon Musk, and all them, they all be suffering. A lot of them going through divorces, and they're suffering, and their children. And even people who you think have no worries in the world and who are just living in la la land, they're suffering too sometimes. But it's about the attitude that you have when you're suffering. So some people could be suffering more than you, but their attitude is so good that it seems like they're not suffering at all, because maybe they've gotten it to a point where, hey, maybe they're not mentally suffering as much.
I saw this cartoon back in the day. Basically, it was like a Christian cartoon about, I think it was Joseph, actually, about Joseph. And he got put in prison because of a lie that the Pharaoh's wife, maybe he wasn't the Pharaoh, he was like someone in line. His wife lied on him. And he ended up going to prison. And while he was in prison, he was like real depressed. Like, God, why did you do this? You know, you gave me these dreams. And then he found like this plant. It was like dying basically. And he created a routine around the plant. Like every day he would go and build around the plant, like nurture it, show love to it, until when he was about to leave, like the plant, which was dead basically in the beginning, it had grown to be like this really big tree while he was like in his cell, because it had access to the sun. And it was just like, because he dedicated his time and energy and focusing on something else, on that growth and that joy that came from, let me nurture this plant, let me give it some form of love. He didn't really feel that previous pain that he had been experiencing, you know, with him being in that position in general. So it's like finding the things in our life that we can nurture to. And I think this even speaks to mentorship, because there's always mentorship and service. Because everyone is in a certain situation. But just imagine the fulfillment Joseph found when he saw that plant that he'd been working so much on growing, you know, despite the odds, despite it having almost no life. He focused his energy on nurturing it, and before he got out, it was a huge tree. So maybe finding like, who can be our trees this year? Who can we service and give love to?
That was a word. Wow. Yeah, servicing can take some of that energy, that negative energy that you're feeling, and you know, put it into something else where you can heal somebody. I was watching Michael Jackson heal the world, Super Bowl. He had a Super Bowl performance, and he did heal the world at the end. and you know, he got the audience involved, and you know, and I was just thinking to myself, you know, we still talk about Michael Jackson because no matter all of the crazy suffering that this world put him through, he was so focused on serving humanity, you know, and giving humanity a voice, giving them representation in his music videos. He used to have every culture in his music videos, and he would teach lessons. Like that song Bad is about telling the gang members to stop killing your brother and stop robbing your brothers. And so that is serving the community, that is serving humanity, that's serving the world. Using your platform to do that, no matter how big or how small, because you know, people don't know us like they know Michael Jackson, but we're still doing a service. Even though we're not Michael Jackson's status, we're still healing the world by putting this out and by asking you, hey, you want to join us in our 2022 movement of speaking positivity over our lives and other people's lives, and looking at the different things that happen to around us in a positive way, and so that we can grow and then actually doing our goals.
To somebody, you are at that Michael Jackson status. Seriously. I'm so serious. It's like, never downplay like who you are in people's eyes, because we are amazing beings, and somebody looks at us and say, man, I really want to be like her, like when I grow up. Like, I love that. I think she's gorgeous, and I do think you're gorgeous.
I think you're gorgeous.
Thank you. So I think we have to kind of like scale ourselves up, because even though we aren't Michael Jackson, we are gods, right?
We are gods.
So we have the same energy, and don't underestimate your presence
the
in
same
anyone's
potential
life
to change the world as he did. And there's a lot of people who are, you know, celebrities and people who we look up to, but you're right, we have to see ourselves in the same light. You know what I mean? I always say, honestly, if people weren't doing the personality worship at the Travis Scott concert, crushing each other just to see somebody on the stage who has the same potential, you know, and they have the same potential to shine just as bright as them, then maybe we wouldn't have had all those deaths, because people wouldn't be literally that pressed, not realizing that they have the same essence within them, you know, going crazy over somebody else. Like, what if we went crazy over ourselves like that?
That's deep.
Because truthfully, everybody should be confident in themselves. The way Kanye is like, hey, I'm Kanye, I'm the best at everything. You might think he's delusional, but he's gotten to where he is because he has a wonderful self-image of who he is. And we have to have the same self-image of knowing, like, I don't care what anybody thinks, I am me, and that is enough, and that is not only enough, but that is fabulous.
Right.
This is us holding out our hand.
Join us.
Join us. Come to the positive side. And we are going to take 2022 and the rest of the years by storm, because again, we have one life to live. It's time to be extra, and that's what we're gonna do.
I'm ready.
We ready.
Come on.
We ready.
Come on.
We ready for y'all. This has been another video, another installment from myself, AKILAH Nihanda, with my friend
Keisha Jones.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.